and welcome to the Blacc Tea Podcast. I will be your host for this episode, Janelle. As usual, welcome back. We are here with amazing guests for this topic discussion on self-love and mental health. So before we get it started, I just want to introduce to you to the panel for today. So we have Ashley.
Hi.
We also have Miss Rochelle joining us. Thank you, Miss Rochelle.
Hello.
And then we have my friend and entrepreneur, Tiffani Mitchell. Say hi, Tiff.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you for joining us. So I'm super excited. Me and Ashley have been talking about wanting to do this episode for so long. So we're really excited to have you guys join us today. And I know everybody else is going to be extremely interested in viewing into this particular topic on self-love. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it out just so we can get the topic started with some controversial questions, the questions that'll start the conversation. So the one that stuck out to me the most, which I really want to get into, is, some people are discussing self-love nowadays, especially on social media, as a very taboo subject. So everything gets claimed as mental health. Self-love is always seen as most important, but oftentimes there is this other aspect to it where people are seeing it as self-absorbed. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you believe that self-love is really just a trend right now? Or do you believe that it's something that it's really more selfish? What's your viewpoint on actual self-love? And anybody could start it off.
Tiff, you want to go first?
Okay, mine's not really that long, but I think self-love is a lifestyle. So I definitely don't think it's a trend. Once you actually find self-love, if you don't already have it and you haven't already fostered it, or it wasn't like poured into you and you're kind of like discovering it at different stages in your life, it's like once you start, you can't go back, so it's definitely not a trend. It's necessary. It's like I always compare it to if you don't put on your mask when you're going down in the plane, you can't put on nobody else's mask. So self-love is like necessary for you to even be able to give love to anybody else.
I agree with that too, because it's interesting because sometimes the idea of self-love gets seen as selfish, but I agree, in order for you to fully love someone else, whether it be in a friendship, whether it be romantic or platonic, you have to take care of yourself too, or else you can't fully give in the way that you should to the people around you. So if you don't prioritize yourself, what your needs are, if you don't identify who the heck I am, what are my needs, then how can you do that to anyone else? So that's why I 100% don't disagree with that statement that it's self-love is selfish.
Well, okay.
Therapist speaks.
In my therapy head, so just bear with me. Because it is a trend, it can become selfish because a lot of people only deal with it from on top of the tree. We need to get to the root, right? So for a lot of us, you don't know self-love because you don't even know you're worthy of the love you're talking about, right? So if you don't understand your worth, you will never understand your love. So you can't get to the love before you get to your worth. So the majority of people think self-love is what they show on your social media pages. Self-love is manicure, pedicures. That's not self-love. That's self-maintenance.
I like that.
Those are things we should be doing, right? We confuse self-love with this. And some of the self-love that I see can be very much so selfish because they really, if you ask them, well, what does self-love mean? Me doing for me doing this, me doing that. But what about the inside? You see what I'm saying? So majority of people, they do the self-love on the external. Oh, but we're not working on the inside. So until you understand seriously, like I matter, like I have an exercise I have to do with clients. And I say, look in the mirror for 30 seconds without putting on no makeup, no lashes. Look at yourself for 30 seconds and then say to yourself, I matter. If you can't say that, then you don't love yourself. You see what I'm saying? So right now, unfortunately, because of social media, a lot of what I see is not self-love, it's self-gratification. Because we don't really want to go deep. Because going deep would have you to deal with some stuff that you ain't dealt with in a while. So I think I mentioned that to Ashley. I said, if you don't understand your worth, you would never understand what self-love is. So self-love is definitely a process.
Yeah.
Once you understand it, you can't go back. And that means there's boundaries. That means you may lose friends. That means you may lose relatives, because relatives don't like self-love, because with self-love, you have strong boundaries. And with strong boundaries, I'm changing. When I change, you can't get what you used to get. So it causes a problem. So I'm gonna stop right there.
But can I add to that though?
Go for it. Add to it.
For a person who's in the journey, discovering self-love or rediscovering self-love, how it's supposed to be, I fully support going to Christ. If you have no foundation, you have no baseline, and you want to know what love is, you start with First Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind. Do that with yourself. And I truly believe God is inside of us. So if you say you love God, then you by default love yourself. So what you would do for God, you should do for yourself. Ooh. If you would give offerings to God, you should give offerings to yourself. If you would, if God would give you grace, you should give yourself grace. Yeah. If God would give patience with you or forgive you for something that like nobody's seen it, but it was wrong. Right. You got to do it for yourself, and He'll give you the strength. He'll give you the strength and the courage to go to those family members and say, hey, I know what I used to be for you now, but I'm in a different space and a different time. So these are the boundaries. He'll give you strength to put up those boundaries for those family members that you thought was love, until you realize what love really was when you went to Christ. And you were like, oh, that wasn't love. That was trauma bonding, or that was survival, or that was whatever it was. But it got me to where I am in Christ now. And now that I know love and I see love and I experience love how it's supposed to be, I'm going to show you what it is. And that sometimes means you got to watch me from over here. Because to love myself, I can't go back to this, because this wasn't love. Now that I know what love is, this wasn't love.
And in a way that you're right. Going back to what Sister Rochelle was saying and what you were saying too, Sister Tiffani, is it's selfish to not get deeper into the root. You're right. Like getting my nails done, that is what my generation calls self-love.
Surface level.
Getting my hair done, all of these things. But you're right. What about addressing abandonment issues? What about addressing anxious attachment? All of these things. Because at the end of the day, that's causing us to be selfish, because we're running away from what our purpose could really be if we got the healing that we said. So you're right. I agree. Okay, you know what? I changed my mind. It is
so just that fast.
You sold me.
But honestly, go ahead, Miss Rochelle. Go ahead.
The only danger with that, and let me tell you why I say it's danger. Yeah. The majority of people that don't go to therapy is church folks, and they need it the most.
Ooh.
I'm in church. Some stuff you just can't pray away. Some stuff you got to deal with. Our issue is that we just go to God and waiting on God while God is waiting us. It's a collaboration. The Bible says faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So some stuff God will handle. God will handle the stuff we can't handle. But we just want to go to God with all the stuff because we don't like confrontation. We just want to give it to God and pray. And God was like, no, boo-boo, I need you to go handle that. I'll hold your hand while you heal, but this is some stuff you have to deal with. I've noticed that more church folks, I don't need a therapist. I just need Dr. Jesus. I'm like, well, how's that working for you? Because God is not going to take, and listen, if He didn't take the cross from His Son, why He gonna take your molestation issues away? No, you got to heal from that. He will hold your hand while you heal. But you just can't say, because this is a thing. A lot of us think because we know God, that God would just go take it to the Lord and leave it there. And we've been leaving it there and ain't nothing happened yet. Why? Because God going, faith without works is dead. You can't tell me this, but you not going to work. I'm not sitting here. I'm not your genie in a bottle where you think you can just give me everything while you do nothing. And now you actually got an attitude because I ain't answered your prayer. I got an attitude because you ain't did no work to get to your prayer.
There's exactly.
No, I love that.
What will happen is you'll get that same test over and over and over again until you apply what you learn in Christ, and you say, "Oh, ta-da! I ain't got to go through this no more because I know the answer. I didn't fail the test 15 times, so now I'm going in with life experience. And I'm not gonna do this no more. And God to give me that strength to say, "Hey, I'm cutting this off at the root because I see where this is going."
Yeah,
but that work, you got to do that work, and it's hard and it hurts. It hurts because it's like, oh wait. I thought that was the problem. I was the daggone problem. That's the revelation.
You know what I love though? I love that you guys brought up boundaries.
Yeah.
We don't really discuss that. Someone was told me on my healing journey, boundaries is the love language, right? Like boundaries is the I love you. It's like, I love you so much that I'm going to put up this boundary to protect our relationship.
Yes.
Because if I don't, the relationship will suffer or I will suffer. So I appreciate you guys even mentioning that. But you're right, Tip, and Miss Rochelle, you have to put in the work. I think for our generation, because this is also a generational podcast, so we look at it from that lens. Our generation, I think we have become a little bit more self-absorbed. I appreciate the fact that we have a little bit more emotional intelligence, but I do believe that there is something to be said about sacrifice. There is something to be said about doing for others, and that's still just as valuable. And I feel like when you just become so much about self, you kind of do lose touch with the rest of the world. So I think we do need to bring that up more. I'm like, I want you to get your healing, but you live in a world with other people, and that's just reality. So,
but you know what, to make it deeper, because I do look at social media a lot. And I've always said some of us, we're taking on other people's stuff. So if you look at it, it's a selfie. Everything is selfie. So if you say that long enough, you know what I'm saying? It's in your head. I take selfies. It's all about me. And we do it so much that we don't even understand what we are programming our brain to be. So you're 100% right on this.
And let us not get on, I don't know if this is going to be the next question, but don't let us get on the music and the stuff that we feed ourselves in our brain.
Listen,
that's the
problem.
As much as I'm a believer and I always represent Christ, I can say the first few lines of a song and I guarantee y'all can finish it. Because what is going on in this world, no knocking to none of these female rappers, because I love the unity that's going on. I love the fact that they're not catty with each other. It's more like, hey, come on, girl, let's show them. We run the world. We run the world. But, at the end of the day, it is, to me, creating separation. Yes. And this goes back to, just about me. But, and I'm always going to be rooted in Christ. It's about partnership, family. What are you leading to? But if you say 7 p.m. Friday, it's 95 degrees. You know what I'm saying? It's separation. It's like, well, why are you here on the evening without a man? What's going on here?
Exactly.
What's going on? Not saying that a man is the end all be all, but I'm saying partnership. What are we working towards? What are we doing every day? Because honestly, I believe and I feel like, I know there's a scripture behind it. We are workers for God. So we're here to live our purpose. Our purpose is our gift. So whatever your gift is now, if your gift is rapping, do that. But make sure you're letting the masses know who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And when you can separate yourself from that, then you're not selfish. And if you're doing self-love in that, because you're doing it for the greater good of everybody, then, social media could be a tool or it cannot be. I think I went on a tangent, but I'm back.
No, I love that. And I agree with that too, because the better in alignment that you are with the Lord, that does do a lot of the work. But you also, like Sister Rochelle is saying, you have to face what it is that you're having issues with. And you have to identify areas that you could be manipulated in, such as social media. Because as a media studies major, that was my major. I feel like news manipulates us and it tries to separate us from our family.
It's not trying, it's doing it.
It's doing it. We look at commercials. We look at all of these different, what you read, magazines. Social media is a big magazine, and it just separates us and it makes us a more selfish culture in a way. It's like, it's just mine. But at the reality, but you're right, Sister Rochelle, it's just a surface level. This is what I'm doing to heal myself. And we have a culture of people who don't want to have accountability, myself included. We want to run away from when things get hard in our friendships, our family. And
escapism is strong.
We just want to escape. And what are we going to do? We're going to go back on our phone. We're going to listen to Glorilla. We're going to listen to all of these things. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's just getting us farther away from what our calling is with God, and in a way where we can help other people and fulfill our purpose.
For sure.
I agree. And it's funny. Nobody looks at being selfish as a mental health problem.
No one
Hey, that's a problem.
And
You selfish? That's the
I was on
problem.
the wait since I know
Narcissism is a problem.
Narcissism.
Right. You selfish. That's a problem.
Right.
Or self-centered.
What's really going on around here?
Exactly.
Really serious.
And honestly, if you really, now like Miss Rochelle said, if you really get deep, all these selfies is just a visual validation of what you trying to figure out. Is this okay? Is this acceptable? If I get enough likes, that means that this is right. Put up a couple of quotes and a couple of scriptures or whatever. I'm not even going. I'm always gonna give it for God. Never mind. I ain't even gonna not. But what I'm saying is, you'll see where your true alignment is and who's really on your side, who you really should be around, who you really should idolize when you put God in the center of what's going on. Then some of that stuff won't even appeal to you anymore. You know what I mean? You'll stop drinking alcohol and you'll start drinking tea. You know what I mean? It's like your taste will change. When you meet God, your taste change on a lot of stuff.
But don't let yourself get tricked. Don't let yourself get tricked, because even the closer you get to God, people will make it seem like, oh, since you don't drink alcohol anymore, or if you don't smoke weed or all of this kind of stuff, then, oh, you're boring. That's the trick, though. And I think sometimes, like, we have to also identify that, like, the people who are your crew, who's supposed to be around you, that you're supposed to pour into, they'll stick. I know that's way different than what the answer was, though the question was, but they'll stick.
But that matters, though. It really matters. Like, I got friends that I ain't talked to in like a whole year in this journey. You know, when I'm figuring out, is it me? Is it them? Is it me? Is it them? It's me. You know, they still there because they my true friends. They like, girl, I know you was going through something, but I knew you'd be back. I'm right here.
Wow.
You know, that's true. That's true.
That's a true friend.
Right.
And then you test your new self on your old friend. If they stick, guess what? They lifelong friends. Medea say, you only need a couple. You need them branch people. You know, you got the roots, you got the branches, you got the leaves. I need only like 2 roots. My husband, because that's who I'm gonna spend the whole life with after these kids are gone, and maybe 1 good friend. And I got 1 good friend. Actually, I got 2 good friends, but 3. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. You just need the 2 good friends and that good life partner, and really, you're good.
I agree.
But everything else is gravy on top, if you ask me.
So I have another question kind of following up around that. We'll juggle around the questions a bit. So we brought up social media, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you guys feel about the social media presence surrounding mental health and self-love? And how do you guys respond to it or handle it? Do you coincide with it? Can you relate to it on some aspects, and then on other aspects, how would you respond? Because everybody literally will put their business out there now, which, to be honest, I'm a little shocked. I don't do that. There's some people, I've seen people post about, oh, I had a bad day. This happened to me. My boyfriend broke up with me. My child's father, he's not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. And then on the flip side of that, I'm kind of like, well, is this for show, or do you really need help?
Exactly.
So, you know, how do you guys respond to those things?
A lot of it is for show, because we got to get, what is the danger with social media is that you get validated by the likes you get.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But that lets me know you're already insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people need that. It is actually addictive, right? Like when I see people do this, I can't believe this happened to me. And then they just leave the post. Mm-hmm. Everybody, what's wrong with you? You know, it's throwing it out there. But some people, what's dangerous, they're using social media as, oh, look at this. Do you see me? Do you see this in the background? Okay. They're using social media as therapy when some people could care less about your life. Right. As a matter of fact, some people go get real nasty and call you stupid and everything in between. So that can actually, watch this, make you more depressed and make you more anxious.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be somebody out there to call you stupid. It's going to be somebody out there who are not going to give you grace, because people online can be very much so lethal with the typing, right? Mm-hmm. So when I do look at some people and I'm going, oh gosh, but then I have to understand the generation under me and even under Ashley and you, sis, is that the kids told me, like, there's some stuff I don't think we should post. Yeah. The generation under y'all, they confused, because their question to me is, no, Miss Rochelle, why don't you post? So based on the generation that you get, the younger kids, that's all they had. Me being 50, I'll be 59. I did without social media, so I don't need to post. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You guys are kind of in between where you could do with it or without it.
Yeah.
But the generation under y'all, my heart goes out to them because that's all that they know.
Yep.
And they post every single thing. And some of them are really posting it from their heart. But like I said, you got some people in that comment section that actually tear them down and make them worse. So they can actually make your self-love turn into self-hate if you are really doing this to get some people to support you. But then I do sometimes ask, is this to get attention? You know what I'm saying? Is this to get this? Now you want somebody to bond with you. Oh, girl, I understand. I did that too. Now we trauma bonded online, right? So you have to, it's so many different, there's no right or wrong answer. It really depends on the person that's doing it. But unfortunately, for some people, I was like, okay, we seeking attention big time. We just need it. And for some, they do give out too much information. Like I think it was a young lady I mentioned. I said, take that down right now. I said, what are you doing? Take that down. I mean, I was like,
I agree.
So you need, I said, we're not doing that. Take it down. That's too much information. So if she took it down, and she was seeking attention. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, we don't have nobody like, baby, take that down. Some stuff we don't need to, put out there for the world to see. But it's
So
just.
Can I interject? Because that's where I come in as a coach. Because I always tell people they should have a YouTube channel or a podcast or something. So I feel like, and I'm always looking for a solution. So if that is a need for the next generation and their whole face and life is online, that's where you come in, where you can say, hey, baby, these things is what you don't post, sweetheart. And that's why the young generation wants you to post everything, because it could turn into money. Content is money. So if your life is content, good, bad, or indifferent, they're like, oh, I've seen people make it. Yeah, maybe about like 5 people, but they don't realize you really got to go to work because this stuff is
facts.
Yeah,
facts.
Not fly by night. That's why that's why the generation in between, like you said, you, then us, and then under them, the generation in between, we get both worlds. We like, I see why they want you to post, but we see why you shouldn't post. You're like, girl, you know how much stuff I would have got caught with if we did have posting, and y'all telling what the darn body is. Like, come on, what are you doing here?
Leaving the paper trail.
You leaving a whole, you walk to the thing with the camera on live.
Wait, Tiff, make it worse. You just escorted the police right to your house so he can arrest you.
Exactly. Come on, can we keep anything private?
Nope.
Anything. But I see where, because they think it's money in it. I mean, it is money in it, but it's like everything ain't content. But what I take out of social media, I think it's a great place if you do have an ego to highlight your ego. You could be anybody you want to be online, because when this camera turn off, real life start. The lipstick come off, the hair go back up. I got to be a mama. I ain't been asleep since last week. You know what I mean? Like, social media makes you look good. Use it for that. Use it for whatever you're going to use it for. But if you're looking for what you ain't getting in your real life, you're going to be sadly mistaken, because people don't care. Nobody's emotionally attached to a post. Nobody's going to say, you can't even hear the tone in a text. And that's why the beautiful thing of emojis, because you get to see how a person might really feel, but it could be cap. You got people, I mean, it might not be cap. You got people who, I broke up with my baby daddy. Oh, we back today. Don't say nothing about me. Girl, I didn't care the first time. I didn't care when you posted it the first time. But young people don't realize that. And they're like, well, I got likes on it. That don't make it right, baby. You got 100,000 likes on you twerking doesn't make it right, because you remember you got a son. So when your son see his mama twerking because you thought it was cute for likes at the time, now what? Now back in the day, you might have to do whatever you had to do to feed your kids, but now you can't. Your kids gonna be like, hold on, because we walk in emos. So, and they way more emo than us. So you don't imagine seeing your mama twerking online and you gotta go to college and somebody
No.
You're gonna be, so people gotta be conscious of what they're doing online. There's nothing. When I was in my master's program, John Cleary said, nothing in public is private. This is a public forum across everything. People screenshot. I don't care about Snapchat. People will screen record. People will save it. People will bring it back at your lowest time. Even when you're on top of the world and they say, oh, you think you the biggest, baddest, da-da-da-da-da. Remember this? And you're going to be like, because people don't care. And they will be doing it for cap. Oh, let me see how many reactions I get on this one. So if this was an advice question, don't put your business out there, baby. Use social media as a tool for whatever you're
Agreed.
going to use it for. But please don't use it as a therapist because it don't work.
Ashley, were you going to say something?
That was so powerful. I was just going to dive into the microwave culture that we live in. We think that just by posting something on social media that it is going to get the exposure, and that is why we're acting and we can't even live our daily lives without being on our phone 24/7. And I'm saying that that's kind of just how life is transpiring, and it's really sad to me. It's sad to me that we can't just sit down and play a board game and talk to each other. We don't have to be on the phone at all. Literally, invite people over your house, fellowship, talk, have fun. So I just I'm starting to want to pull away from social media because I just feel like it's starting to get very phony and even more fake and more predictable. And it's kind of like, what's the point of it? I feel like I'm starting to like waste my life where I can actually be making connections or educating myself. I could get a whole nother degree if I just took all time from social media and things of that nature.
I agree.
I wanted to go back to like things that people do, things like YouTube, like there's explicit things that people do, which I can't get into, but we know that people do that. People stream themselves, people do Snapchat, all of these lives and everything. And I really truly believe that if you keep your business to yourself, then you can grind and you can get your goals and what you want to do. Because if other people are going to be listening into what you're doing, you might have some secret enemies that are going to try to sabotage you just by, and they could be people that you think are friends, people that you think that you're cool with, family members, everyone, that they do care. They care enough for you not to reach your goal. Or it can be people that are, they use what you tell them against them as a form of manipulation. So I just think people, when I say microwave, they're just thinking of instant gratification. They're thinking about the right now. But what about the future? Because in my opinion, the worst decisions that you can make are based on your emotions, because your emotions are always going to have you making decisions that are instant, and you're not going to think about the repercussions. So I think if we learn as a society to use more logic versus like thinking with our emotions completely, there should be a balance, right? It's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional and to feel things, but make sure that when you're thinking about decisions, that you're using emotion, logic, and you're including God in those decisions.
I agree, Ashley. Thank you for saying that.
Go back to what would Jesus do?
It's two things that's dangerous, and I think Tiffani said it when she said that with social media, you can be whoever you want to be.
Yep.
So it helps you to live a lie real nicely. Like I see people post, I'm like, but I know you and your husband about to get a divorce. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But we can post. Social media helps you become this alternative. Then you get caught up in what you're not. You know what I'm saying? And then the second thing about the instant gratification, they did a survey with some young girls, maybe in seniors in high school and maybe in college. And they was asking them, were they willing to release a sex tape of themselves? And they all said yes, because that's how Kim Kardashian got her way. These were white girls, Black girls, everybody in between. So they was like, may have been embarrassing, but look what it got her. She got her own business. She famous. Everybody loves her. So a lot of our younger generation of women saying, yeah, I would release that in a heartbeat if it would let me get to where she was. Not realizing your chances may not be that. You know what I'm saying? But that's that instant gratification we're talking about, that they're willing to sacrifice whatever to get to this fame of, they're comparing to what all she has, and she's loved and she's a millionaire. She got this, she got that. And this was like maybe a month or so ago when I saw it online, and they was all saying, yeah, they were willing to do that.
That's very sad.
Really disheartening.
I want to preface, though, I'm not making judgment on anyone. I'm just like saying what I'm saying, that when you make decisions, don't make decisions based on your feelings completely. I want to preface that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
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 Because I can't, when I,
temporary, your feelings are temporary. Don't make a don't make a permanent decision based on temporary feelings.
and that's what oversharing, because I know I'm a really emotional person and I don't overshare, not at all. But sometimes I just want to like let it out if I'm angry about something. But it's like, what is that really going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. Well, this is going to kind of segue us into the next question, which is criticism when you are prioritizing your mental health, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some people who really do have issues and they do have to go seek certain assistance for whatever it is that they're going through, myself included. You know, it's just interesting. Just there was a time that when I initially went to therapy, though, the first time this was before it was popular. You know, this was before people were sharing their business.
Exactly.
I didn't tell anybody. I was embarrassed. I didn't want anybody to know. I was like, oh, they're going to think there's something wrong with me. Like, I kept it quiet for years. I never told anybody that I went to therapy. But I think I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable with it because I realize the tools that is provided to me and I don't mind sharing it. But even still, I limit certain things. So have you ever faced any type of criticism or judgment for prioritizing your mental health? And if so, how did you handle it? Would you do anything differently? Because I think some people go to therapy and they think of it as like a checklist now where, well, I went, so now I'm good and I can share all my thoughts and opinions with everybody and they have to listen to me because I went to a therapist. And then there are other people who are like, look, this is my takeaway. This is what I'm going to do to work on myself so that way I can interact with the rest of society. It should be used. So what are your thoughts on that?
Anybody want to go first? Okay, as a therapist, it is my desire to normalize therapy for my people.
Yes. Good.
But what you said, sis, was so funny because now some people right now are now weaponizing therapy against people.
Thank you.
Yep, they are.
Oh my God, I'm going, what are we doing? So now we want to, I'm going to therapy. I'm like, so now we're going to make other people feel bad. And that means you need more therapy because you're in therapy for the wrong reason. For you to now weaponize therapy that makes you think you're good enough, better than someone else, that lets me know you're still insecure. You see what I'm saying? It's still an insecurity issue. When I started my journey of healing, there were no therapists around. I started in my 30s. And honestly, the only thing I had back then was Oprah Winfrey, Ayanna Van Zandt, once a week. There was no such thing as Black therapists, period. Right. But that's something we were taught. What you going to a therapist for? Telling them white people your business. You're supposed to keep everything in the house. And they go to school, be telling your friends and they can't tell you nothing. And
that's how I was raised.
You see what I'm saying? And I was raised that way too. But I began to take a journey of beginning to look at myself. And that is one of the most challenging. I won't call it hard because I take reference to my words because my word has power. It was one of the most challenging things I had to do because I realized all my bad relationships that I was in had nothing to do with the men, but it had everything to do with me. Yeah. So a lot of us don't want to go that deep.
Accountability.
So when you're talking about, this is what I can tell you about the younger generation. Okay, the younger generation, they do therapy, but they do therapy so much that like they be trying to find me on social media. My therapist, Miss Rochelle, is everything, and I'm like, oh my God, I never forget one of my older clients, and he's young. What I love about the younger generation under you guys. Yeah. Is that they really do talk about therapy and they really want to get the help.
All day, every day.
I can say when I was in school, some of my clients, their parents saw their change and they wanted to come in and have a conversation with their kids. So, but what's funny is that I'm gonna leave you this is that removing the stigma. A lot of times, unfortunately, we use therapy when it's the last resort. Like a couple come in, well, if you can't help us, we get the divorce. Oh, now you want to come, and I'm supposed to be the
You should have done that
You should have done that a long time ago, right? We think of therapy as the first thing we say, what's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Versus therapy can help you stay and maintain. You know what I'm saying? And so we use therapy in such a wrong way. So that's why I say I want to normalize this. Like, I want y'all to be like, girl, where you going to get my nails? And after that, going to see my therapist. I want y'all to say it like it's nothing.
And that's how it should be.
And so that's how it should be. And so when you talk about this thing, so when I see like it's y'all age, I don't know what the ages of y'all, they weaponizing that. The women especially, they weaponizing the heck I'm therapy. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Thank you for keeping it real.
Oh my God. That's just another thing. What I think my best thing is that I hadn't seen one of my clients over 2 years because it was when I was in college, when I was in getting my master's. So I walk into the store and I didn't know you worked there. And I swear, y'all, this is what we had. Oh my God. Hey, everybody, that's my therapist, Miss Rose.
Oh, wow.
But when they present themselves,
I feel like that's your business, baby. That's your
business. I had no problem with that. I thought it was beautiful. It's not what I'm saying is that for him, it wasn't a secret. He was like, if y'all need some healing, go see Miss Rochelle, right?
Yep. Well, that is beautiful.
That me as a therapist, I'm your undercover friend until you uncover me. So right when he uncovered me, he gave me permission to say hi to everybody he knew. I would never walk up. If Ashley was my client, I would never walk up again.
Never.
Hey, girl, how you doing? But I've had clients to little girl, she went up to me at Sam's. Miss Rochelle. I was like, hi. So it's normalizing it because what we have to realize is that we don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with you trying to figure out. And this is the biggest thing for me is that why do you move the way you move? And once you get to the root of it, and I wish we had time to talk about feelings because feelings never die.
Yep.
So feelings never die. So a lot of the stuff we acting up right now is not grown us. It's that little girl in us that we thought we could lay dormant them feelings, and she just rises her nasty head up to the top to cause friction in your life. So I'm loving it becoming normal, but I'm seeing the ugly side of it is when we start weaponizing and make other people feel bad that they are not in therapy. So that's the dangerous side of the social media thing. I hear a lot, and the majority, can I just tell y'all, women weaponizing therapy.
Everybody's a narcissist now. Suddenly everybody's calling.
All your exes cannot be narcissists. You know what I'm saying? We take a word and we run with it and we wear it in the ground. Just like all of a sudden, energy, she feminine energy. That was like this. when I see like thug men talking about, oh my gosh, she got masculine energy. I'm like, hold on. When did y'all start talking about masculine energy? I just need to know. Or even women. What I'm saying is that you see how powerful social media is. We take words and run with them. Don't know what they mean. Don't know what narcissist. You just got a term. And now we're taking these words and we're now weaponizing it against each other. And truth be told, if I start asking, well, what is a narcissist? Huh? Well, you said he had narcissistic tendencies. What does that mean? Huh? Because they don't know, but it sounds good because that's what everybody else is saying. So that's the only side I hate with social media is how we got people weaponizing therapy on people, which I think is crazy. So, okay, I'm done with that. I'm done.
It's ridiculous too. Going back to the question was basically like, are we weaponizing it?
Or do you face any criticism or judgment when you do need to utilize it? Because nowadays it is so popular. Do you get backlash?
For me, I would think judgment would come from within because who the heck here? I mean, who needs to validate that I need therapy? If I'm going to therapy, it's for me. I'm not about to say, hey, do you think I should go to therapy? If you think you need to go to therapy, you need to go to therapy. I don't need you to co-sign that. So that would be on the user error. Like
that's the problem.
Read the question again.
I got lost in my answer.
You're good. So it's like, have you ever faced any criticism or judgment when you did need to prioritize mental health? Like when you actually act, okay, now I have to come to terms with, I do need help.
I have a situation. I have a situation where for me, I've always been, still to this day, I put other people's needs in front of my own needs. And that can really leave me feeling empty sometimes because I'm over here running around doing this, trying to answer this phone call, answer this text message, and go to this event, go to that event, or just be friends, like be there for people always. But like I've had situations where I had to just step back because my mental health wasn't in order. And it was almost kind of like I was drowning, but my friend was also drowning and I had to save myself. And I think like sometimes like people react in a weird way, like, well, you're not there for me. But it's like, I've been there for you all of these other times. And for this time, I have to take care of Ashley. And I think that's the hardest thing sometimes, is facing like people looking at you like, well, you're always supposed to be there. Well, what about me? Are you always there for me? So it's like, I think like when you ask that question, Janelle, like you have to think if everything should be a balance. If you're around people that are criticizing you for prioritizing yourself sometimes, and maybe you should reconsider your circle.
Yeah, you got to reevaluate. That's probably why you're depressed.
I agree with the word.
Your
I agree with the
circle.
word balance. I think that's
It's a
really
balance.
where people are kind of missing the mark. It's like, it can't be all about you.
Mm-mm.
However, it can't be all about somebody else either, because there has
Exactly.
to be a healthy balance in place.
Exactly.
Can I add to that with social media as far as I guess mental health, depression, whatever, because mental health is a myriad of things. But when you find yourself comparing yourself to others online because of who they chose to highlight and make themselves be online,
Your persona.
that's where you begin to suffer. Because first of all, this is not real life. You put a camera on these people 24 hours a day, or when this camera cut off, or after their message of the day. You don't know what they go through throughout the day. They only tell you what they want to.
Yeah.
So don't compare yourself to somebody, because I had a beautiful conversation with a lady, high class, high power lady. She's like, well, I see these stay-at-home moms over here. And I'm like, girl, do you know these stay-at-home moms want to be you at work?
Yes.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
You cannot compare yourself to anybody, because your race and your life and your journey is so different than everybody else's. So you'll find yourself having mental health issues that you really brought upon yourself. Some of them, not now. Some of them, hey, some of them can't. It's out of your control. But when you become self-aware, you can understand, okay, that's mental health. That's me. That's this. That's me. Now let's have this all together in this life, because we have to coexist in society with everybody else.
Exactly.
Two things, Janelle, you mentioned. Who judge you the most? Church. I told y'all.
Yep.
When you got anxiety, we go bind it in the name of Jesus. No, we're not get to the root of why I'm anxious.
We'll pray for him.
This is what I mean. That the church will weaponize you. Oh, where's your faith in God? That's the first thing they say to you. Then that's what I said, but you may have to get to the root of why am I anxious, why I'm depressed. Yeah. But the church will shame you, because when I said, you know what I think is amazing? I said, if y'all saw my arm broke and y'all saw the bone out, and it was like, and I'm running to the pastor, no, we need to take it to the hospital. No, touch it and make it go away. You know, like, mend my bone together in the name of Jesus.
Not the healing.
No, they would look at me like I'm crazy. But why is it that? But when I tell you I got suicidal thoughts, we want to bind that up. No, if you didn't bind up this arm, well, when it comes to mental health, because we can't see it, the first thing we want to say is that it's demonic.
Right.
But let's be clear. There were prophets that were suicidal. Jeremiah wept all the time. But we don't want to deal with that. So the church shames people all day. I don't need nobody but Dr. Jesus. If you're not, are you telling them, like, somebody is anxious, you're telling them you're not praying hard enough.
You know, he's called by many names, but doctor is new. So.
You see what I'm saying? So it's that part there, though, sis. The church will shame you all the time. But this is the other part. When you say prioritize mental health, that means when you put yourself first, i.e. boundaries, the first people go fight you is your family. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, because that's another whole session all by itself. I'm done.
I want to add one more thing, because all of you ladies have said some very powerful things. I just want to add that sometimes the judgment is what you were saying to Sister Tiffani, is we care about what other people think. We should stop caring about what other people think. And we really should be caring about what God is telling us to do. Because with us being people pleasers, with us being always trying to satisfy everyone else, which is basically a people pleaser, that causes so much anxiety. And then if you're caring about like how to please, like even if that's who you were for so long, you can break out of that. You can break out of always trying to please everyone and caring about what everyone thinks. And I'm going to work on that.
And you start to appreciate yourself more. You realize, as a in between people pleaser trying to get up out of it, you'll realize the more you say no, it's not. The people are not going to leave. They're not going to stop being your friend because you said no. They're going to be like, oh, okay, I just had this conversation with my uncle. They'll go to somebody else, but they know most of the time, hey, you'll say yes. So you'll be the person they come to. You can always say no and won't feel nothing. I mean, you'll probably feel a little way, but it's like, oh, they'll just go find somebody else. If you take the emotion out of it, which is, to me, why would people please? Because we want to make somebody feel good or feel better. Well, we should really be trying to make ourselves feel, regulate. You won't feel bad. You say no and you'll get stronger with each no, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but I got to get to the therapist, y'all. This is something y'all missing. To get to that people pleaser, you got to get to the source of why you're people pleasing.
Exactly.
So you got to go to your root. And the majority of this starts is something called your attachment style. It starts between the ages of 0 to 18 months. Hear what I just said? 0 to 18 months. So if you are a people pleaser, why are you anxious? Because I want people to like you. Okay, why you don't think people like you? You have to go deep, and the majority of it is from our childhood. And it happened within our family. So the source is, I'm a people pleaser. I need to get to the root as to, but why are you a people pleaser is the question. Because as long as it's kind of like this, you can cut a weed down with your lawnmower and your lawn looks beautiful. The weed has been cut, but the root is still there.
Yeah.
Until you get to the root, watch this, the weed will grow back and it's going to be even harder to pull out. Why? Because now the roots then got thicker and they then got deeper. A lot of us cut the root down and we can say no. But if we don't get to why we are doing what we're doing and why we move the way we move, eventually you will go back to being a people pleaser again. So we got to get to the root of where did it start. And this is the thing, who told you wasn't good enough? Or who made you feel you wasn't good enough? And chances are, I've said this and I'm going to hang this here. Our parents are the first people we fall in love with, but they are the first people that traumatize us.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And it can be, it can be unintentional, but as a child, it still traumatized you. So the majority of that attachment style started at home. Okay, I'm done.
No, I honestly, so we're going to have to wrap it up soon. This was such a good conversation. There might be a part 2. There might be a part 2.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you, ladies, again for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate it. Like I said, me and Ashley have been wanting to do this episode for so long.
Yeah.
And just the information and your experiences that you've brought to this conversation have been extremely helpful. And I know other people can relate to it too. So I appreciate you guys just being real about your experiences, and also for us to see the generational trends behind what's transpired at the beginning from mental health to where it is now, and how we could actually find the balance of it.
As you can see, all of your questions could have been a segment by itself. You know, I read your question, I was like, do they realize the segments alone?
Look, the conversation continues. The conversation continues.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Your response would be, I was like, all these questions, I said, we're not going to get through these. These are hot topics by themselves, because you just didn't realize how deep we could keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part two should be called Roots.
Roots. We get to the root. Get to the root.
Get to the root. For real.
Or deep in the root.
Deep in the root. I like that.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. I thank you ladies for I thank Ashley for, she's still gonna call me sister.
I love you so much.
Don't call me sister. I was like, we're not in church.
I have to. I know, but I love you.
We're not in church.
See, I mean, everywhere we go to the sister, I say, Ashley,
I have you saved in my phone as Sister Rochelle.
You know, I feel it's a level of respect. There's still people I call missing man from when I was young. You can't break it.
Yeah. No, I'm just telling you what is so funny.
Every time. You know who it is. She's calling you Sister Rochelle. You turn your head still.
And Tip, it was nice meeting you as well. I want to figure out where we know each other at, because your face does look familiar.
I mean, I'm telling you, I know you from social medias. Famous in my mind.
Definitely. She's definitely famous.
Where can I just let people know they can follow me on all platforms? My name is Miss No Gray.
Yeah,
absolutely.
On all platforms.
Wait, spell that for us.
MISSNOGRAY. Miss No Gray. I'm been actually start releasing stuff. It's social media is very tired. I don't know how people top of their content creators. That's full time. That mess is.
It is. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
So I thank you guys for thinking of us.
And then Tiffany, you could give them your social as well.
Okay, you guys can follow me on Instagram under Jolly V's Creative Corner. So that's Jolly like happy, V as in victory, S like so the apostrophe Creative Corner. And you can follow me on TikTok, which you'll find how to get me through all the other stuff on as Coach Jolly V.
Okay.
Beautiful. And then as always, you guys can find us on our website, blacktea.com. Please check out our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
YouTube. Y'all on YouTube because I'm following y'all.
And YouTube.
And of course YouTube, where we're going to be posting all these episodes. So please stay tuned for our next episode coming up. This was amazing. We're gonna have a part 2, and we definitely, regardless of the topic, we'll have you ladies back on because this is a great conversation.
I can't wait. I would love it.
Definitely. So much. I'm humble.
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you guys. All right, we'll see y'all next time.